Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mike's Garage. Listen, I wanted to give a shout out to Tom. Tom's communicated with us quite a few times here with comments. You can read his comments below. But I think it was really just a horrible thing. He got drafted in 1967, once upon a time in Vietnam. And I guess he went to infantry training and he went to Oakland, California on a troop carrier, a ship, and he wound up shipping out literally from Oakland to Vietnam 20 days on the Pacific Ocean. It had to be horrible. I mean, I don't know if you've been on a cruise ship. Cruise ships have stabilizers. They try and keep the rocking and the rolling to a minimum. I don't think the troop carriers have that. At least back in '67, they didn't. Okay, so that had to be a horrible ride. I know anybody that can't see the horizon and you get motion up and down, they usually can't handle it. Okay, so 20 days on the ship. I would have kissed the ground when I got off of the ship after 20 days on the high seas. Okay, and the Pacific Ocean. I mean, it's supposed to be calm, but not when you get out away from the shore. Okay, you got those big giant rollers. If you hit a storm, it's just horrible. Okay, so the infantry guys, some of them did go by ship. I know when we went, we had 300 guys on an airplane. They had taken that, they gutted an airplane, and I think it was 4 seats on each side. There was just enough room for one person to walk down the aisle at a time. They really didn't want you to stand up. They wanted you to stay seated with your seatbelt on. There was no place to go to smoke. There was only a couple bathrooms in the front and in the back, and that was it. So we were lucky enough to fly over there. We went from Oakland to Hawaii, and we landed in Hawaii because we were having engine problems. Okay. Now, when we landed in Hawaii, they took us over to a hangar. We weren't allowed to go into the terminal. They took us over to a hangar, and we were allowed to go out and go into this fenced-in area, and we were allowed to smoke and everything like that. And there were MPs there to make sure he didn't try to wander off in Hawaii. So after a while, they worked on the engine for a few hours, maybe 5 hours. I think we were there. I don't think we got a meal. They had some drinks. They had a drink thing where you could get some water. But after about 5 hours of them working on the plane, we marched over, went up, walked up the steps to get on the plane again. That's how you get on and off. You walked up the steps in the '60s. Walk up, get in the plane, go back to your assigned seat. They had to sit in the right order because that's how your duffel bag was going to come off the bottom of the airplane. Last guy on had to be the first guy off because his duffel bag was going to come out from underneath the plane first. Okay, if you were the first guy on, your duffel bag was all the way on the bottom of the pile, and you had to be the last one off the plane. That's just the way they told you it was going to happen, and it pretty much did happen that way. And when you got there, they were just throwing the stuff off the bottom of the airplane because you had to grab your bag and run into the shelter. They had we weren't catching any fire or any rockets or anything there, but the thing was to get the airplane emptied and off the ground as quickly as possible. They did reload the plane because there was another section of the terminal where there were GIs waiting to get on. And they were actually shouting, "Welcome, Greenhorn," and all that stuff when you got off. Good luck to you, we're going home, screw this place and all that. So that was how you passed each other in the terminal. They were in a different area. It was like a fenced area where they were in one side of the fence, we were on the other. So that's what we did. We landed by airplane, but going by boat had to be a horrible thing. Okay, I can't believe that it even happened. They were still doing that in the '60s. But anyway, I did want to give a shout out to TJ. TJ, I haven't heard from you for 4 or 5 days. I know you got some comments about what's going on. Anybody that knows about the Stinger missiles or these anti-tank missiles, a younger guy's going to have to know about that. We had some kind of bazooka that had a wire on it, and that's how you guided the thing in. It was horrible. Very lucky if you hit anything with it. Mortars, calling an airstrike. The tanks really didn't do you a whole lot of good because all the swamp and the jungle. It was just walking in between trees the whole time. But with the engineers, that's what they used to do. They used to clear an area, and we would go in and bulldoze a road in there, and set up a camp, and work out of that base camp for a while. So anyway, I ramble on. I'm sorry for doing that. I have a habit of doing that. But anyway, Tom, I feel for you. 20 days on a ship with 3,300 GIs. I think he said he had a crew of almost 300 people on the boat too. So the ship, the crew, the transport ship for the troops. I don't know how you got through that. Okay. Take care, everybody. Could always use more subscribers, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching Mike's Garage. Do something nice for a stranger.